Some folks find art museums therapeutic. Here in America, there are not many reasons to go to art museums other than to complete a school project or to keep the girl or guy you are seeing somewhat interested after the third or fourth date. Whatever the reason for attending, the question on everyone's mind is, how do you enjoy the art museum experience? Some have suggested focusing on one or two works to avoid so-called museum fatigue. However, if you are traveling all the way to Europe or Asia and only have a limited time to check out Rome's Vatican museums or the Mori in Japan, you do not want to miss out on centuries of priceless art. But even if you are checking out a small local collection, these techniques will still work out for you. Let's dive right into them. Do your research. Not too much. Imagine you are invited to a party. The first thing you are bound to ask is, who will be there? Granted, not all of us are professors with the time, patience, or intelligence to expunge knowledge from hundreds of volumes on art history. Your best option is to go to the museum's website and get a sense of the exhibits that are going on. Make a general plan of what you wish to see. Perhaps you can find maybe 4 or 5 concepts you are curious about and do some very basic research beforehand. These concepts can be as general as Middle Eastern figurines or Baroque sculpture. Be careful not to prepare too much because the beauty and nuance of museums lie in the experience of learning from the source itself. One time, before visiting the Bowers Museum in Santa Ana, I noticed they had an exhibit on works from ancient China. At the time, I knew nothing about ancient China. I spent 5 or 10 minutes at home learning about the various dynasties and was able to generally distinguish Ming pottery from Sheng pottery. The goal here is to learn a little bit at home, or hotel if you are traveling, and fill in the gaps once you see the creations in person. Buy a postcard. Gift shops are tempting. Let's be real though, no museum visit is complete without at least looking at the $80 art books that were intended for the Incredible Hulk's coffee table. If you are passionate about art, go ahead. At least buy a postcard. You never pay more than $1 for one of these. You can send them to friends, and they make perfect conversation pieces for the office. One time, I visited a church in Pienza, Italy, and I bought so many postcards, the cashier gave me a free one and topped it off with some bookmarks. If you live in the city, glancing at a postcard is a fun way to appreciate an experience as mundane as riding the subway. Also, you could even get a little collection going. Gotta visit them all. Just like Pokemon, there are hundreds of incredible museums to visit, and frankly, there is no such thing as an art gallery without at least one thing to be utterly intrigued by. One time, while visiting Utah, I learned about a free-to-enter gallery on BYU's Provo campus. I checked it out and was stopped in my tracks by an enchanting painting by Rembrandt that featured the bust of Jesus. I asked the gift shop for a print, but was told most politely by the cashier that Rembrandt's color selection was so unique that modern printers cannot replicate the color scheme accurately. Clearly, this small gallery was worth the visit, and so is the Capitoline in Rome, the National Gallery in London, and the Met in New York. So don't wait for that awkward 3rd or 4th date to visit a museum. Make a day out of it. Write in your journal about it. Buy a postcard and send it to your friend in the Bay Area, and above all, happy museum hopping, people.